Well, good evening, everyone, and happy Monday, and welcome to the Detroit Metro Plug podcast where connections matter. We are at episode number 77. So I just want to thank everyone who are joining us live on our YouTube page at Detroit Metro Plug podcast. Thank you for those who are joining us via LinkedIn on our Detroit Metro Plug podcast and for our Facebook followers on the Detroit Metro Plug podcast page. Thank you for those who are joining us live. We're excited about tonight because we have a special live program, and we're going to be talking about the Comcast Rise program. So, listen, for those who are joining us live, I want to encourage you to like and follow our page. But not only that, if you know an entrepreneur or business person in the Metro Detroit area, I want to encourage you to share this podcast link, whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. Share this with your entrepreneur friends, business people in the Metro Detroit area. If you're looking for resources, there's going to be comprehensive grants that Comcast is offering for local Metro Detroit entrepreneurs, business owners. And so we're going to be talking about that. So thank you again for those who are joining us live. Um, so, um, just a few announcements before we go into our broadcast. As you know, you may have heard or may not have heard, but we are starting our summer entrepreneur book club, which meets this Thursday, 6:30 p.m. in Farmington Hills at Centric Place. If you're an inspiring entrepreneur, thought leader, influencer, and you're looking to connect with like-minded people, we're going to meet 3 times this summer, once a month, the second Thursday of each month. And we have a book that we're going to go through, written by a Detroit native, Lisa Howe, called Candy Girl Mentality. And so we're going to go through that book and just pull out some of the wisdom and knowledge as she shares about her life story and how it applies to us as entrepreneurs and business leaders. So there's information about that. You can go to Eventbrite and just search Biz Life Book Club 2023. So thank you for that. And again, welcome to our viewers today. Thank you for joining us live. So we're going to get into our topic today. We have two very special guests. Before I introduce them, I'm going to show a quick video clip about the Comcast Rise program.
Businesses are largely in COVID. Small businesses have been almost twice as likely to shutter.
Disproportionately so.
More than half of Black business owners
were struggling to obtain federal paycheck protection.
joy back into the community.
African Americans, somehow we always find a way to rise.
To the blueprint builders, to the backbones of every block, to the late night legends and the pioneers of legacy, for the curators of the culture, for the family franchise, and for generations to follow. You might fall, but never fail. Keep rising, keep rising, keep rising. Apply today for a variety of business, marketing, and tech makeovers on us to help your rise.
All right. So, as the clip says, if you are looking for more information on the Comcast Rise program, you can definitely go to the ComcastRise.com website. All right. So, let's get into more of the details. And I'm going to introduce our guests for this evening. So it's basically a small panel for the Comcast Rise program. We have on the podcast today Mr. Rob Ponto. He's the Comcast Public Relations Manager, and he's a part of the Comcast Rise program. He's going to explain more of his role with Comcast. And we also have an awardee, Miss Nina Payne. She's a awardee of the Comcast program. She's going to talk about that whole process, how she applied and how she used those resources to help her business. She's going to tell a little bit about herself and the businesses that she has. So Welcome to episode number 77.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes. So, I know, Rob, we had you on last year, but for those who are viewing now, do you mind just kind of introducing yourself and telling our audience what's your role with Comcast as well as Comcast Rise?
Well, Charles, thanks for having me on. It's an honor to be on again this year, talking about Comcast Rise. And Nina, it's always great to see you. So thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having
Appreciate
me.
it. Thank you. Been with Comcast for 27 years in various positions, marketing, public relations, community affairs. And my job with the company is to tell the Comcast story in the state of Michigan. And Comcast Rise is a great story. So I'm just super happy to be here today to talk about it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your time, both of you guys, for coming on this podcast and giving out this great information to our community and our audience here in the Metro Detroit area. So Comcast Rise is in its third year. So remind our listeners and our audience, what is the program? What is it all about? And why did it get started?
Yeah, I'd love to. So Comcast Rise, at Comcast, we like acronyms. Rise stands for representation, investment, strength, and empowerment. And it began in 2020 as a result of the pandemic. The economy tanked. Small businesses, especially businesses owned by people of color, really were hit hard. So at one time, in fact, 60 years ago, Comcast was a small business in Tupelo, Mississippi. And we had a microwave cable system down there. That's where we started out. So we know a little bit about small businesses and we have resources to help. So we looked to put together a program to help those businesses hardest hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. And we came up with Comcast Rise. And at the first iteration was in-kind grants. And there were several different ones that you could pick from. There was a tech makeover, which included Comcast Business Services, which included internet, voice, and internet security, plus electronic devices like laptops, tablets, PCs. Then there was also marketing support if you needed a consultation to help your business grow and survive through the pandemic. We offered that. We offered production in the way of a 30-second TV commercial aired on Comcast cable networks, and also small business education options as well. As time went on, we wanted to help even more, and there were still some areas in the country that were still struggling, and sadly, Detroit was still one of them. So we came up with the Comcast Rise Investment Fund in 2021, and this was a grant based on need. It was $10,000, and we offered that 2 years in a row, 100 of them each year in the city of Detroit, Hamtramck, and Highland Park. So now the program has evolved a bit. We're out of the pandemic. It's pretty much over. So we're focusing on helping small businesses of all kinds strengthen for the future. The economy is down a little bit. We want to make sure everyone is ready to go and thrive to the next few years. So now we're offering the best of both worlds of those Comcast Rise grant opportunities, the cash and also the in-kind grants together. So best of the both worlds as we start in 2023.
Okay. And as I was researching more about the program for this year, is it true that you guys expanded it to more counties or more areas in the Metro Detroit area?
That's correct, Charles. Yes. So we are hitting Metro Detroit, Comcast service areas in Metro Detroit this time. It's Washtenaw County, Wayne County, and also Macomb and Oakland County. So 100 grants in those 4 counties total. And we're expanding to all types of small businesses. And again, it's a kind of a conglomeration of all those grants together. So when you apply, and if you are selected, you'll get the consultation, the education resources, a monetary grant of $5,000 to help with investment and growth in your business and sustainability, a creative and media production, and then also the tech makeover. So you'll get all of those for 2023 if you're selected.
Okay, that's awesome. So it'll only be 100 small businesses that will get the cash $5,000 grant in addition to those in-kind services.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. Just to help to clarify for those who will be viewing and watching the replay, uh, what's ideal? What is the ideal business, and what is some of the things they have to have in place in order to qualify?
Okay. Any type of small business can apply. There are some rules. If you go to ComcastRise.com, we have some qualifications, but the main ones are be established for more than 4 years, or excuse me, more than 3 years.
3 years.
Have
Okay.
100 or less full-time or part-time employees, and be independently owned and operated.
Okay.
So those are the main qualifiers for this program.
Now, when you say independently owned and operated, does that exclude franchises, or what is it? What do you specifically mean about that?
Yeah, you need to own your own business to qualify for this program.
Okay. Okay. So 3 years. I mean, they've established themselves with a filed LLC with the state of Michigan. Are there revenue requirements, or does that matter?
That does not matter. Nope, not at all.
Okay. Okay. So 3 years in operation, independently owned and operated, and in those three counties that you mentioned: Washtenaw, Wayne, uh,
Oakland and
Oakland,
Macomb.
and
Yeah.
Macomb. Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right. And it starts June 1st and it ends on is it the 29th, or is it a different date?
June 30th at the end of the month. So
Oh, June
there's
30th. Okay.
plenty of time to apply.
Okay.
From what I hear, talking to many businesses we've worked with in the past that have won, the application process is not that strenuous. So if you have your business plan ready and you have your ducks in a row, it should be a pretty easy process to apply. I'm sure Nina can speak more to that when she has her comments. But go to ComcastRise.com, apply
Okay.
as soon as you can.
Right.
And go to the website beforehand to see what you need to
Okay.
apply, just to kind of get ready before you log in.
Right.
But
Okay. Now, I want to ask, of course, this is the third year, and I know you've helped a lot of businesses locally. So what different kinds of businesses have you guys assisted in the past?
oh my gosh, we've helped over 600 businesses in the state of Michigan since 2020, and they run the gamut from pierogi makers to construction companies to barbershops to bakeries, catering companies, really retail, any type of business that you could imagine. We've helped in the state of Michigan and across the country. So doesn't matter what you're doing, how you're making a difference. Please apply if you're a small business, because we have the resources. We want to help make sure you're strong for the future.
Okay. Okay. And so when they go to the website, there's a list of documents that they have to submit, or do they have to have? Yeah.
I believe when you go to ComcastRise.com, you can peruse the website and it'll give you some guidance on what you might need to apply when you log in. And Nina, I haven't applied myself, but I'm sure Nina can help us out here.
Okay.
It'll give you some direction on what you'll need to complete that application.
Okay. All right. All right. So that's a great segue. We do have a past awardee, Nina Payne. She is the founder and CEO of Foundation Management LLC. So do you mind just introducing yourself to our audience? Share what information you care to share, and a little bit about what you do with your business.
Absolutely. Thank you, Charles. Like I said, my name is Nina Payne. I'm the founder and CEO of Foundation Management. We're celebrating 23 years being in business this year. I left a high-tech profile.
Yes, 23 years.
That's a lot, right? And
Yeah, yes.
I left corporate America as an operations director for a tech company. So I was inundated with that space and jumped all of the feet into entrepreneurship, did both for 4 years, and started an artist management and special events company 20 years ago, and did that for about 15 years. I had the opportunity of traveling the world and doing tour management, road management, stage management, production management, operations, whatever, in entertainment. the music business started to change a little bit. Things started to move and shake. You know how things go. And I started thinking that I didn't have anything to build and pass on to my legacy, my children. And so I jumped out of the music business, pivoted again, and wanted to continue what I love to do, and that was put things together. That was events. And
Okay.
so I started doing events about 8 years ago in the corporate space. And, we've been moving forward ever since. And I got an opportunity to, hire amazing people to work on my team and teach people soft skills when it comes to conflict resolution, customer service, event decor, all different services. And even if you never work with me again, you get a chance to use those services, right? Or those skills in other areas. So that's why we then developed this staffing company as addition to event management, production, and now staffing on the event side.
Awesome. Awesome. So just tell us a little bit about how you came about learning about the Comcast program, and
Mhm.
what was the process for you applying, and how did it go for you?
Well, Charles, during the time of pandemic, right, and we were set to leap and bounds in 2020. I had a whole statement called 2020 Vision in 2020. It was a whole thing, marketing thing. And then when 2020 hit around March 15th, we were all shut down. And we make our money with people gathering together. So if that's eliminated and people couldn't gather together any longer, that's a really, really large issue. Um, and in that way, I had to figure out how to pivot again, right? And we added virtual services, and we were doing strategic planning and all of these things that we could do in place of gathering people together. And I landed a big client. And during that time, I had to figure out, and I've told this story, big clients are great, but they don't pay the day of the event. They pay net 30, net 60, net 90. And at the time that I found out about Comcast Rise, we were sharing resources. Small business owners in Detroit, we were sharing all the resources. Hats off to everybody who was trying to help somebody else in that time. And I saw the Comcast grant qualifications, eligibility requirements, and they were minimal, right? And I qualified, and I was shocked that I qualified for the opportunity to apply, and I applied immediately. And I know Rob mentioned this, but the process of applying was so simple. Especially if you've been running a business for a few years, you have an understanding of what it takes to run a business, right? So your paperwork, your financials, your how many people do you have on your team? They ask about that, like how much income are you, or how much payroll are you paying out? Things that you're going to know already. And so I applied, and when I got awarded, man, it was a huge help because it helped me kind of keep this client, right? I was able to continue to keep my team employed. I was able to buy uniforms and carry some expenses that I would not have been able to carry had I not had the grant. I might have even lost this client. So the Comcast Rise grant was really instrumental in that time where we were growing so fast.
Wow. Wow. So you received this in 2021, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
And you shared a little bit how you used those funds.
Yeah.
So they were like a stopgap. Um,
You know how you should have gap insurance on your car,
right,
right?
right.
I had not experienced, not in a corporate space, a client who, was deferred payment and, is net 90. And so being able to carry over all my expenses, the team, everything else, it can become really, really challenging. And the Comcast Rise helped me do that.
Okay. For our viewing audience and our listeners, what can you share that they could be prepared to have in place in order to qualify or to apply online?
I think the best thing to do is go to the Comcast Rise Grant website and read the requirements. Like Rob said, it's very simple. So you have to own and operate your own business, Black, brown women, but now it's opened up to so many others. Live within the county that they're going to be awarding the prize to. And that's pretty much it. You got to have some, you got to be able to answer some questions, like I said. Know your business. If you know your business, you're going to be fine. And don't be scared. I think oftentimes maybe women or people of color, we get turned down so much. You know what I mean? Like it's always a battle and an uphill battle. And what I liked about Comcast Rise grant process is that it was simple. And so I would encourage anyone who's even thinking about applying for the grant to apply for the grant. Go to the Comcast Rise grant website and apply.
Okay. So those who are on the fence, if your business is 3 years in operation, independently owned, go to the Comcast Rise website and apply. So I want to go back to Rob. When will the announcements be for the awardees?
So the application window closes on June 30th, and then all the applications are reviewed, and businesses will be notified at the end of August of 2023, and then they will be, after they're notified and accept, they will be awarded in September of 2023. So just a few months down the road.
Okay. So once it closes out on June the 30th, the awardees will know by September if they receive the grant.
Correct.
And the other in-kind services. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Are there any other related programs that you're doing this summer, or is this just the main push, the Comcast Rise program?
This is our main push in the small business space. It's been such a successful program over the past 3 years. We had to bring it back. It had to evolve. And again, we've taken the best of both worlds during this program's lifetime, put them together, and we're back. We're glad to be back in Detroit again. This is the third time where we're doing something like this here, and just ready to help any way we can to make small businesses thrive into the future, because they're the backbone of our society. So we're just here to lend our support.
Okay. Now, are you guys available if other people may have questions? I do have like a contact slide here. Is it okay for people to reach out to you on LinkedIn or your social handles just to ask you guys questions?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
I can be reached at LinkedIn.
Okay.
ComcastRise.com is another great resource, and also our local blog, michigan.comcast.com.
Okay.
We'll have some information there. We'll be featuring some past winners, hopefully to give other business owners some inspiration so they go to the website and apply.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had people reach out already, Bob. I didn't even tell you that about, just asking more questions about how to apply and what do I need, and just getting some encouragement. And I think the biggest thing is don't be afraid. Like there's always this, and I wanted to say that again because it's so important. It's like, this mountains is in front of you. You've never done it before. And you get fearful, especially women who get turned down or people of color get turned down for funding quite often. And if there was any grant that I would encourage people to do, it would be Comcast Rise. It's just, that straightforward and that simple. It's not going to be something that, you have to know your grandmother's firstborn cousin on her left side's maiden name. It's not that. Just knowing who you are and what your business offers, and that you're eligible is enough. So I would say apply. Just apply.
Okay.
I mean, what can you lose? Just apply.
Just apply.
Mm-hmm.
So any closing remarks from any of you guys for you want to share anything? Nina, you have anything coming up with your business you'd like to share with our audience?
Sure. So I also am a podcaster, Charles. I think I've connected you on LinkedIn. So we started a podcast called All Things Behind the Scenes, Events and Entrepreneurship with Nina Payne. That started in top of the year. We're finishing up our first season. It's all pre-recorded, but we are working through interviewing some amazing people who do amazing things behind the scenes, head down, do the work, never ask for a thank you or accolade, but we're talking to them about how they do what they do, why they do what they do, and then encouraging others in the event industry to connect with these folks, right, and learn from them. And so being able to kind of, give flowers where flowers are due, because there's so many amazing people doing such great work in the event industry.
So how can people find your podcast?
Well, they can start on YouTube, all things BTS podcast.
Okay.
They can check out my FMLLC events pages, whether on any social media, and they'll find all things BTS podcast.
Awesome. That's great. That's great. So those who are watching and watching the replay, check out Nina's podcast and follow her, especially if you're into the event space.
Whether you are a person that attends events,
Right.
or you are a creator or curator of events, we all
Right,
have
right.
like some sort of intrigue about what happens behind that curtain. And so I think it's fun. It's conversational, just like your show, Charles. It's very, we laugh and we joke and we share knowledge and drop gems on how people can kind of navigate in the event space.
Okay, I got to have you back and talk more about.
Yeah, that'll be
what you're
fun.
doing with the events. Yes. All right, Rob. Anything else? Any closing remarks do you want to share as we wrap things up?
I just can't say it enough. Please, and as Nina said, it's not that difficult to do. Take an hour or two to get things together and apply at ComcastRise.com. We want to help out, and the more applications we get, the more we get the word out, the better. So ComcastRise.com, get that application in.
All right. One little last question. In the last 3 years, what has been the typical amount of applications that came in?
That's a great question. I don't know the answer to that, but I can tell you that since the window opened for this round on June 1st, we've been very pleased. We've had a lot of activity coming into the pipeline. I don't know what the exact number is, but I know that folks are very happy that the word's getting out and people are taking advantage of this program.
Right. Well, thanks again to both of you guys for making your time available to be on this platform. Hopefully those who will view this would apply. Go to ComcastRise.com. You have up to June 30th to apply. And to learn about also, you want to just check the qualifications. You want to be in business for at least 3 years and be independently owned and operated. Yes. And that's the basic criteria. So I want to encourage everyone to apply. And let's give it up for our guests and with the Comcast Rise program.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. All right. So that's going to wrap up our podcast for today. I will be back next week with a Detroit difference maker in the area of entrepreneurship and community involvement. We got some exciting guests coming up. Thanks again. Please share this video, this interview on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Share with people you know who can use these resources to help boost their business. And with that, you guys have a good night.